We'll keep you updated, but as you can imagine, traffic is backed up quite a while in the heart of rush hour at 5:45. Wendy?
Prescription pills are getting into the wrong hands, and Loudoun County Sheriff Office is investigating an incident that involved middle schoolers. So now authorities are hoping this teaches parents a lesson. Our Northern Virginia Bureau reporter, David Culver, with that story.
It began last week here at Riverbend Middle School in Sterling, involving 7 students.
This Friday, we had some students show some symptoms of maybe having an interaction with a drug that they shouldn't have had.
Xanax, or its generic form, according to the sheriff, a pill used to treat anti-anxiety.
But I think what happens is these kids get a hold of it, they don't realize exactly what these drugs can do and how harmful they can be.
The students checked out by the nurses and sent home to parents. No reports of any serious injuries. And while it's not clear where the drug came from, the school system says there's a lesson for all parents.
People have to learn that street drugs aren't the only thing that face their kids. What's in your medicine cabinet, what's unused from a prior prescription, especially if it's a painkiller or an antidepressant or a sedative, can be very dangerous in the wrong hands.
Before becoming sheriff, Mike Chapman spent 23 years as a special agent with the Drug Enforcement Administration. He says prescription medications can be just as deadly as hard drugs.
A lot of times people will be prescribed these drugs and they get a lot more than they actually need, and they'll just leave them sitting in their medicine cabinet, and we don't want that to happen. If you're done using them, get rid of them.
Best way to do that, drop the unused or expired beds at boxes like this one at the Leesburg Police Station. Loudoun's got them across the county. The school system still investigating at Riverbend, but warns not to believe everything spreading across social media.
But we don't want to panic, on the other hand, and give the community the idea that people are being poisoned or that there's a widespread epidemic.
As part of a regularly scheduled meeting, the sheriff has decided to shift his attention to Riverbend Middle School tonight. He's going to come here, meet with members of the community, and have a discussion about the recent incident, take any concerns from parents, and give his input. That's going to be at 7 o'clock tonight. Reporting in Loudoun County, I'm David Culver, News 4.
All right, David, thank you. A Northern Virginia mother is getting a lot of positive and negative reaction on social media still today after she says she was kicked out of church for breastfeeding. Annie Pagero from Dumfries talked about what happened to her on Sunday during a Facebook Live video. She says she was approached twice as she breastfed without a cover inside Summit Church in Springfield. She says a church official told her it was against church policy to nurse openly. Well, here's what she says happened moments before she was escorted out.
One woman came over, sat next to me, and started to cover up Autumn with a fleece blanket. I'm like, no, please don't cover her up. She's fine.
Virginia law gives mothers the right to breastfeed anywhere they are legally allowed to be. There is no exemption for religious institutions. Now, News 4 reached out to the church for comment. We are still waiting to hear back.
In News for Your Health, there is a new study that could link smoking to autism. Researchers found that a woman who smokes while pregnant may increase her granddaughter's risk of getting autism. Researchers analyzed data from 14,000 children born in the United Kingdom during the 1990s. They found that girls whose maternal grandmothers smoked while they were pregnant had an increased risk for autism. Experts think that if a baby girl is exposed to cigarette smoke in the womb, it may affect her developing eggs. This study is published in Scientific Reports.
Today is a day of action for students, alumni, and friends of historically black colleges and universities. They came from all over the country to Capitol Hill today. The group held a rally on the Hill to urge Congress to support predominantly black institutions of higher learning. They want increased funding for students and more access to federal research grants. The group says HBCUs are sustaining the middle class.
Education steers children away from crime. But to get a good education, the kid has to go to class. News 4's Kristen Wright explains how Prince George's County's I Belong Here program is connecting those dots in steering students towards college.
For these students in Prince George's County, this bus ride was much more than a field trip.
I want to succeed. Yeah.
The optimism infectious. William Wirt 8th grader Leslie Cruz says just being on the campus of Bowie State University